when you feel like you have a good candidate or you have a good representative, but things get in the mix, and you gotta check those folks too, even those that you support. Hey, dude, maybe I would like to see you do it this way, or I would like to see this come about, whatever it may be. I would like to see a new park come in. I would like to see our water better. I would like to see the roads get fixed. Whatever you have an idea on. And that helps us as a local community, because our representatives are our neighbors. We are able to talk to them. Whereas the state and national level, it's a little harder. You got to go through a lot of firewalls to get to them when it's not so protected here on the local level. Somebody sent me and I'll just read over it here real quick. Somebody sent me a spreadsheet on the election. It's not official. I don't think the official numbers come out until the end of the month, but we can look at them anyway. So I had a politician tell me that once, that if you don't carry Ward 2 or Miami County, you won't win the election. Well, Mr. Otto proved that is not the case. It looks like here, according to this spreadsheet, that there were 2,572 registered voters in Miami County, 482 votes cast. Mr. Otto earned 189 votes. Miss Plebe earned 243 votes there. So she carried Miami County, but she only carried one precinct. And I'm curious about where that precinct is. I have a guess, but I'm not going to say it really. But it just goes to show that, the entire city has an idea for the community. I mean, if we're just going to talk strictly politics, before we do, I think both candidates ran a good campaign. I think I said that before. A clean one. I think one candidate spent a lot of money and garnered a lot of support from folks who were backing with money. One candidate did not, and I think it just proves that here locally, the grassroots, working for your community, and, sometimes you got to show that. I think it works. So, but it has to be genuine. You can't just say a slogan and then go back on it and then carry on. It's just that doesn't work. I think oftentimes there are folks out there who run for office and thinks the electorate is just dumb because they're either dumb or they're not paying attention. Well, there's a lot of folks paying attention. And there's a lot of folks who understand that, you know what, if I have a candidate who's been around a while, who's been out in the community, who volunteers, who does this, who does that, who helps citizens out while they're in office, I think I'm going to stick with that person. Politically, that's what we're talking about. But let's see here. It looks like Mr. Otto carried Ward 1. And Ward 2, roughly, he lost Ward 2 roughly by like 70 votes, 78, 80 votes. Ward 3, he won. Ward 4, he won. Ward 5, he won. Ward 6, he won. So, and it looks, to this spreadsheet, it looks like Ward 3 was the heaviest win. And then Ward 5 was the second heaviest win. So that's interesting. Ward 3 right now is currently held by Seth Morgan. Ward 5 is currently held by Mark Campbell. One former council member now who has returned after his stint at the State House. And then one councilman who's been around since, basically day one here in the city of Heber Heights. at least family-wise. So that's interesting to me, I think. And I think another interesting thing I will look at, and for strictly political reasons, not to do anything negative or say anything about it, but just to look at it and how strategy works in politics and things like that, is to see exactly how much money was put into the Plevy campaign to understand, you don't really have to spend a lot of money to win an election here locally. What you have to do is get out in the community, talk to the people, figure out what they want. Because yes, you're gonna go into it as a candidate if you decide to run, and you're going to have an agenda, and you're going to say, this is what I want to do. But you may get out there and learn that what you want to do may have to sit on the back burner because there's folks out there, a lot of them, or whatever, that have really good ideas or believe in something so strongly that needs to come before your agenda. Now, if you're one of those candidates, man, I'm on my knees praying that you run for office. So that's in about 2 years. Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5 at large, the other at large position, not Mr. Otto's, and the mayor. That's up. So you got 2 years. Watch your folks on council. See what they do. See the moves they make. See the decisions they make. See where they're taking the city. And if you agree with them, keep them. And if you don't, hopefully there's somebody else running against them that you can vote for. This election, not a lot of folks voted. And that's depressing. If you're listening to this podcast, I can almost guarantee you voted because you're interested in what goes on in the city. But not a lot of people voted. And that stinks. Get folks to vote, right? Yeah. Well, let's see here. We moved off of that. Yeah, I'm not going to go over the whole spreadsheet. We may talk a little bit about it on a subsequent podcast. Council is on break. If you're a podcast listener and you're a member of the Brick City Town Hall group, I posted or I changed the cover where it says executive session. There was nothing to that. I think one of the council members got upset that I posted that. That was actually a screenshot I took a long time ago when I was live Facebooking a council meeting saying that they're in executive session. I just added a photo and I had it in my photos and I put it up there to just change the cover photo. The cover photo prior to that was the Dayton police officer who was killed. It was a remembrance of him. He has been laid to rest, so I took that off and put a new one up. It was just there in the comments. I mean, I after the fact, it's kind of a joke because council does have more executive sessions than I think they should, but that's just me. But that's after the fact. I was either going to do what I posted, something from Huber Heights, or the American flag. I chose the executive session screenshot I had, but there was nothing behind that. Yeah, go ahead and like Brick City Town Hall. We try to do a good job with folks that are connected to Huber Heights. We don't let a lot of folks in that we don't believe have a connection to Huber Heights. It's very selective. But if you have a connection to Huber Heights, join up. Be a part of the conversation. Hopefully, we can start discussing things a little more respectfully. I don't know. Jokes are okay too, right? Aren't they? If we joke around. I don't know if people understand my jokes a lot of the times, but I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone. All right, before we close this puppy out, Matt Truman is moving to Beaver Creek. What? Yes, I'm moving to Beaver Creek. I don't think I said it on the podcast. If somebody asked me, I'd tell them, yeah, I'm moving to Beaver Creek. Or, hey, where are you moving to? I live in Huber right now, and I have since July. And when we were in Texas, we had a place up in Carriage Trails. And some things happened, and we just decided to go from there. You know, my wife and I discussed a lot of different things, and it ended up that we left from Carriage Trails and went over to another subdivision that was in Beaver Creek, and that's where we're going, Beaver Creek. Now, what that doesn't mean is that I'm going to go away from the city of Huber Heights. I still have family here. I still have a lot of friends here. And I still care about my hometown. I was never, even if we did end up in Carriage Trails, I was never going to run for office. I know folks think that. Somebody wrote on Brick City Town Hall something about just moved to Beaver Creek already, because I haven't really talked about it. So it's like, oh, people are definitely talking about you, because I don't talk to this person. They're talking about you. Okay, great. I'm glad I'm part of your conversation. Sorry if I don't meet your expectations. But it is what it is. So, yeah, Beaver Creek. I don't know. I had a lot of... It was a quick transition when we moved back from Texas. And I wanted to be in Huber Heights a lot. This is my hometown. I love Huber Heights, but a lot of other factors came into play. I mean, even down to the minute of, I kind of like my space. So, houses being close together, or, just little things like that. But a lot of things. And when it's not just you, and you got your kids and your wife, who plays an equal role, and let's be honest, husbands, a more of a role in our lives. A lot of things you talk about things. Schools is important to me. Government and taxes is important to me. Obviously, we do the podcast. There's just a number of things that come into play where you put it on the scales, and you got to make a option. I did not want to do my podcast in my mother-in-law's house anymore. I'm teasing, of course, because I know folks would find that funny. But, so in about roughly 30 days, I'm heading to Beaver Creek. But, there's my son's involved in things here in Huber Heights, the Young Marines. My brother lives here. I'll be here. And a lot of things depend if I maintain the Huber Heights involvement in politics. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about that. I'm tossing that around. Will I be as involved as I am now? I don't know. Honestly. Hopefully, I left a mark on a few of you to get involved and to help out, and not be afraid to speak out when you have a question or a concern or a praise even. I love the city of Huber Heights, so with that, I may still be involved with political action here in the city. Because, we're buying a house in Beaver Creek, but it doesn't mean we wouldn't